back, everybody, to Pod of Thrones. I'm Jeff.
I'm Jennifer.
And it's our still technically the midweek, even though it's really late in the week episode with our special guest, Loremaster Kevin.
Kevin!
Hello. How's it going?
You sound more excited that he's around than he sounds excited than he's around.
I am excited. I just can't yell with sleeping kids in the house, you know?
Oh, yes, that's right. It is late where you are. How old are your kids, Kevin? I forget.
I have one that's 5 and one that's 2. And a 15-year-old that doesn't really matter if I yell or not. He's not getting out of anything.
Does he help with the 5 and the 2-year-old?
Yeah.
That's nice.
That must be nice.
A lot more with the 5-year-old than the 2-year-old.
Oh, well, I mean, it's still something. That 5-year-old's got to get in your hair sometimes. Yeah. I remember, I picture you as having a baby because I think when we met you.
Well, I do. I'm going to have
a
a baby soon.
What? You're having another baby?
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, did I know that? Did you know that, babe?
No, I don't think so. Congratulations.
When?
When?
February.
Aw.
Way to spread that seed, Kevin. Good job.
I'm a March 1st.
Oh, well, maybe.
No, not March 1st. It's late January, early February.
Oh, okay. Well, right there with my daughter then. Well, good job,
okay.
Kevin. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Boy, 4.
Well, Kevin's trying to catch up to us. One more, Kevin. One more after this one.
No, I think that's it. I'm done.
It's going to take a big house someday. Well, your 15-year-old won't. Yeah, he won't be there. So.
And they don't live in Southern California, so it'll be easier to have that big house. Much easier.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, we could talk about Kevin's sperm all night, or I'm going to give you a choice.
We could talk about someone else who has a baby on the way.
We could talk about someone else's sperm. That's right. So we had vowed, I believe, during the reaction cast, I felt pretty reasonably awake while we were doing it, but not so much afterwards. Mistakes were made. I'm sorry. But I did fix it within a few hours, I think.
Oh, you always do that. You fuck up something and then we'll listen. We're like, look what you did.
Well, don't say always. It's just,
often.
There's a lot to do and it's late at night.
You can cut this out.
If we lived on the East Coast like Kevin, it would be easier on us because we could watch Game of Thrones way earlier.
All right, let's move on.
We got to move for the podcast. We're coming your way, Kevin. So tonight we're going to talk about Jamie, his hand, his sperm, all of his parts. And I believe, Kevin, you had said originally that you wanted to tell us more about Jamie's arc from the books because you are, after all, our lore master. So you're going to tell us how the story differs, how his growth differs, I believe. Like what's different about his arcs in the books?
I think I hit on that in the when we were talking about the last episode, how I said Jamie didn't have a redemption yet. In the book, he has a pretty big one, but I wanted to start off by talking about Jamie before you meet him.
Before we meet him ever? Like
yes.
young lad Jamie? Do they go into this in the books? Do we have wooden flashbacks?
They talk about it. He's a point of view character, so you get a lot of his inner thoughts about stuff that happens. So,
all right.
First, our first real introduction with Jamie is him pushing Bran out the window.
Right.
Right.
See,
and fucking his sister. Let's not forget the fucking his sister. That happened seconds before. It's very important.
That's always the sister part really hasn't really bugged me because you had already in the first book you had Daenerys and Viserys. You had all those stuff going on already, so it really didn't.
I mean, look, fucking your sister is not the biggest crime in the world, but as an introduction to that character, it was a little shocking.
It is, but you don't hate a character because of that, is what I'm saying.
True. The
first thing that sticks out for me ahead Jamie was he pushes Bran out the window, and I think I hold it against him the entire series because that's really the first thing he does. You know what? This the show is doing a good job of making me rethink some of that stuff. But, yeah. And the books does a really good job too. I hold against him pushing Bran out the window, and then when he's on the road with Brienne, trying to escape by trying to kill her.
Right
when they were doing the sword fight on the bridge.
Yeah, the sword fight on the bridge, which was, I think the biggest problem there was that they then got captured. I don't know if they would have been able to get away or see them coming if they hadn't been fighting. Maybe it would have been different.
Right. So I always, when Jamie stuff's on, I always went through the 10 of me seeing him pushing Bran out the window, that first thing. But I like to think that if we had met Jamie in the time before he was the Kingslayer, before, Rhaegar's death and everything, we would have liked him a lot more. Because he was just, he was a young and cocky kid, like, most people, but he did a lot of things before he was like, old enough. Like
good
he
things?
was, good things.
Well, they talk about, when he murders his cousin, he talks about, was it his cousin?
Yeah.
Yeah. He talks about the battles that he saw him in and how glorious he was.
Yeah, but does that make someone great? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think being a good warrior can make someone likable, but not if they're also a dick.
He's basically the Lancelot, of this, but you see him after he's done all his
Actually,
his glory.
That's a really good point. I mean, maybe this isn't why you're saying he's the Lancelot, but I mean, anyone that's seen Excalibur knows Lancelot went behind the king's back and fucked his wife.
Sure did.
Right.
What the fuck?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why you were
really?
What?
Huh?
No, Is that why you were comparing him to Lancelot, or some other reason?
No, it's just Lancelot is the famous fighter, the famous knight, and that was Jamie. Starting from like age 11, he was a squire, just kind of like at Krakenhall. He went to Krakenhall and squired for Lord Summer Krakenhall there.
Krakenhall
and
Harrenhal?
Crakehall.
Why
have I not heard of this place? Is it gone now?
Crakeeh.
Hey, look, I'm not saying you're making it up.
I was spelling it for you because I was saying it, and it was hard to.
Crakehall.
Crakehall.
All right, go on.
Right. So at 11, he's there doing that. He's there being a squire at that age.
Okay.
Just like Podrick.
So.
Yes.
Huh?
Just like Podrick.
Fresh-faced and innocent, I guess.
But much younger.
Jamie probably wasn't innocent back then.
He was the type of player. He was the type of knight that would absorb everything. He would talk to everyone. He went and he asked Lord Holster Tully about some of his things. He talked to Sir Brendan, who was a famous warrior in his time for fighting at the War of the Ninepenny Kings. And Jamie asked him for stories and war. He didn't care about the women that were there. That's all he cared about was stories of the war and how they fought and stuff like that. And so at age 15, when he's been doing this for about 4 years, he actually went out and fought in against the Kingswood Brotherhood, which has a bunch of people in it that are kind of weird. They had like a guy in it named the Smiling Knight.
Well, he sounds nice.
Happy.
They had a person named Big Belly Ben.
Nice.
He also sounds nice. They're big belly, probably jolly.
It's like the two guys in Mulan.
Oh yeah, I like those guys.
Yeah.
When I think of the Smiling Knight, I think kind of like the show took the character, the one that killed, what was his name? The one that killed Jorah Mormont in the legend, the guy who told everyone he was a legend.
Carl,
yeah.
Carl, I'm a fucking legend in
I kind of pictured that type of person as the Smiling Knight, the psychotic.
So he wasn't a good guy. Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, let me throw one at you, Kevin. The Chainsaw Vigilante. No? All right.
What's that?
I can hear the crickets.
he's from The Tick. And he's a guy with a chainsaw that likes to cut people up. He has a happy face mask on that's sort of reminiscent of the Watchmen happy face.
You think of Smiling Knight, that's what I think of. That guy, Carl Tanner, that was his name, right?
All right, so not a good guy.
Not a good guy. And Jamie fought him and beat him in a battle, and he also saved the Lord Summer Crakehall. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm gonna look it up.
I like your original one, except it sounded like you were saying Kraken, so I was thinking of the Iron Islands and the fucking squid. But I kind of like that German pronunciation, Krakahol.
Okay,
that's how I was saying it.
They're always angry. Krakahol,
whatever. So he ends up saving him during that battle. And he's only 15 years old. And he's out in the Kingswood Brotherhood against the Kingswood Brotherhood, and he fights that battle, and he helps save the guy. So that's when he gets knighted. And then he becomes a member of the King's. Like he was knighted by Sir Arthur Dane. So again, another legendary knight, someone he looked up to.
So knights can knight other knights.
That's
weird.
Sirs can knight other knights.
Okay. Sirs.
So
S-E-R.
this is like Jamie's
Sirs.
doing this all at young age. This is a young, and like he's doing this, and he's saving people, and he's fighting, and he's the type of guy you'd root for.
Right. So he's like experienced all this stuff that like Sir, what is his name? Barristan Selmy. He's already done all the same stuff. Right?
Yeah, he was with him. He saw him fight.
Well, he was kind of following in Barristan's footsteps, I imagine.
Well, I think he's got a lot more experience at such a young age than a lot of other knights.
Oh, so after he became a knight, this is when Cersei suggests to Jamie that he becomes a Kingsguard so that
they can be together.
He will be close to her, basically.
At least some parts of her.
Right. And Aerys Targaryen is going to jump on that because in his mind, he's stripping, the next in line from Tywin, because him and Tywin at that point had the back and forth stuff. So he's picturing that if he puts Jamie in the Kingsguard, he strips Tywin of his heir.
Well, he was right. I mean, that's
I never knew this history.
The Kingsguard aren't allowed to have kids, just like the Night's Watch. Really, they're very big on that. I don't know. Like, did old British knights in Earth history, were they not allowed to have kids?
I don't know.
Because that sucks.
Probably. I mean,
no wonder Lancelot wound up fucking Guinevere, because you just get all pent up. You're going to go berserk eventually, and that dick got to come out.
Well, you could just masturbate.
She was right there waiting for it. It's not the same.
Right. So Aerys jumps right on it and brings him in. It's good for Jamie because he's near Cersei. It's good for Cersei because she's near Jamie. The only people it's not good for is Tywin and Lysa Tully.
Actually, wait,
Lysa?
why was...
Because Jamie was actually betrothed to her.
Ew.
Well, he was intended to be betrothed
Lysa?
Lysa.
Yeah.
Aaron.
Tully.
Oh my God.
I want to back up. Can we back up one step? Why was Cersei in King's Landing in the first place?
Because Lord Tywin was the hand of the king.
Oh, he was hand for Aerys. I think I knew that.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
That makes more sense. All right. So Cersei went to town just to hang out like Sansa would later do. Okay. So Jamie was betrothed to Lysa. Nice.
Yeah. Well, he was intended to be betrothed. I don't think he ever actually got betrothed. He was intended to be betrothed.
I bet he was excited about that.
That's a good out.
She was probably a scary looking little girl.
So, and Jamie didn't want that. He wanted to be near Cersei, so he jumped at the plan to become Kingsguard. Aerys says yes, becomes Kingsguard because he already had it out for Tywin. So the plan for Aerys was to strip him of his heir. So Jamie finds out while they're back at Castle Rock that he's been chosen for Kingsguard, and he was like super excited because he's going to go see, he's going to go be with Jamie. I mean, he's going to go be with Cersei, but because Tywin was so upset with the way that Jamie was made in the Kingsguard that he ended up quitting. Well, really, he got placed on like illness and then resigned his position as hand of the king. So like, because of Jamie being Kingsguard, that's why Tywin leaves as the hand of the king. And he goes back to Castle Rock and takes Cersei with him. So now Jamie's going to Kingsguard to be Cersei. Cersei's going.
That makes all the sense. It explains so much.
Right. So you can see what's going on with Jamie. Like he wants to be, he's given up all this stuff so that he could be near Cersei, and then she gets moved out, but he still does his job. He still stays as a Kingsguard.
Right. He can't just leave.
Despite his nickname, he takes oaths very seriously.
Right. So he is the youngest to ever be raised to the order of the Kingsguard.
How old was he?
15.
So he's 15
maybe he was 16 at that time.
Let's say he was 16 when he and Cersei were separated.
You gotta keep them separated.
So they were having sex from a very young age.
Oh, probably like 6. I bet they had
well,
sex
like I said,
at 6.
I think they were in the womb having.
Maybe. I mean, they would have been bumping their sacks together.
Yeah, so he was still 15.
So how long were they separated then? She didn't come back until she married.
They were separated until at least Robert's Rebellion.
Right. So they didn't really have this relationship. They were children.
But they had the relationship when they were young. Like, they were inseparable. And, like, I think they were caught at one point.
You grow up from that.
Wait, okay. Well, the timeline here.
He does not. You still see him now.
Clearly.
How he is with Cersei. You still see how he is with her.
I was just talking to someone about something related to this, the timeline question on Facebook a few days ago, because maybe the book is just casting the wrong actors and then we're playing with the timelines, because, I mean, we know that, like, Jon Snow obviously isn't 14 when the show begins, nor is Robb. So I get all that. Daenerys isn't 13, thank God, getting her nipples pinched by her brother. So I'm glad they aged everybody up. But even still, I guess the proximate ages, the relative ages should be very similar, should be. So Robert is getting up there in age and has totally lost his physique, where he was this mighty warrior when he took the throne. He took the throne, he married Cersei, they had kids, Joffrey was the oldest, and he was in his teens. So I'm just trying to figure it all out here. I would have guessed that Robert had been sitting on the throne for at least maybe 20 years. Does that sound reasonable?
No.
Okay, fine.
Maybe.
So you're saying
we'll get to Robert's Rebellion and everything.
All right, fine. Just trying to figure. Well, because we're talking about Cersei coming back, or is there something else you wanted to talk about between them? I guess maybe the backstabbing of the king, because that happens before she comes back to King's Landing, right?
Yeah, we can talk about that. It just later on. I mean, like, that's the thing that he's most known for, is backstabbing the king.
Well, yeah,
that hasn't happened yet, and what was the story I was telling you about him, but it does end up happening.
I blame Jennifer. She was asking about Cersei coming back. I got confused. It's all her fault.
Shh. Be quiet.
Okay, I'm shutting up now.
Gosh. Go ahead, Kevin.
All right. So he's named Kingsguard, which is the youngest ever. But then Aerys sends him back to guard the queen and Prince Viserys. So Jamie doesn't even get a chance to participate in the tourney that he's there at Harrenhal. So you've heard a lot about that tournament.
That's the Lyanna Rhaegar catching each other's eyes tournament.
Yeah. The mystery knight that appeared. I mean, you hear a bunch of there's a bunch about that we could talk about another time too, because there's so much about that tournament that's like the secret or is legend, and it just goes on and on with that one. But a lot of stuff happened there, right?
Wow.
Okay. Lyanna and Rhaegar, yeah.
All right.
So he gets sent back, and that's kind of like a slap in his face. Like, he's being honored that day, and he gets sent back.
All right.
But he does his job. You know, he'd served the king. He did 2 years for him, for Aerys. And then he watched, like, you guys know that the king was mad. Like, he was the mad king. But Jamie got to watch it firsthand. He got to see the insanity. He got to see everyone that he burned when he was burning men alive. You know, he saw the execution of Brandon and Rickard Stark. He's like there watching it.
It was probably loud. I'm picturing a lot of screaming.
Yeah.
Right. So Jamie would have to cope by, like, going inside. It's way he said, like, I think he called it going away inside. So he would think about Cersei. That's what he would do. He would think about Cersei to get through that madness that was going on around him.
Aww.
Oh, don't you start rooting for them now.
Poor Jamie.
This is what I'm saying. Like, if you had seen Jamie before he pushed Bran out the window, you would have been rooting for him.
Now, Cersei seems to me now that she could do without Jamie. He's just a tool for her. He probably always was. I think she really does love him, but if he was to go away and die now, she'd probably be all right.
It's not equal loves.
Right.
It's not. He adores her. He loves her. He, feels something for her that only certain people ever feel, because when he's away from her and he's not really with her, and she's away, sleeping with the king, and we'll get to some points in the book why Jamie has a redemption arc in a little bit, but she does all that. And he doesn't. Jamie never sleeps with someone else. Jamie never falls in love with anyone else. Jamie never, has a relationship with anyone else. It's just Cersei to him. That's it.
Does Jamie know that she has?
Well, she fucked the king.
Well,
no, but that's different.
Well, he knows about the king, and
of course.
he realizes that.
But does she know about cousins and?
We can talk about that in a little bit.
All right.
Lancel.
That goes in with his redemption.
All right. So he's watching the king descend into madness.
And Sir Gerald Hightower tells him, it's not your job to judge the king. You're here to protect the king. Yeah. So that's why Jamie has to think about Cersei all the time and stuff like that.
It's just like being in the Secret Service. Really is.
Right.
It's the same thing. Except they can probably have kids.
And I mean, like, Aerys at this time is like, this guy is, you guys keep talking about, not Jamie, Dany is becoming the crazy, she's going to go mad and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy, Aerys, he would like grow aroused from fire. He would go in, like he would burn someone and then he would go practically rape his wife because he was so turned on.
Oh.
And this is Jamie standing outside listening to this.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at him raping his wife. I was just hoping you were going to say then he would like put some extra dragon fire on his hand and just jerk off onto the burning corpse.
No, he would. No. I mean, Jamie
it's not
has
George
to
R. R.
stand
Martin
outside
style.
Listen as the queen, is getting raped.
I see.
Basically.
Well, that does suck.
She's crying and Jamie is just standing there. So, anyways, that's just, I mean, this is what you're seeing and Jamie saying before you ever meet him. So you get this, feeling for him.
I like my version better. It wouldn't have sold as many books, but I like my version better. I think it would have been easier on everybody reading. It would have been easier on Jamie. Just watch the king jerk off for a while. Turn his dick green.
Jamie actually asked to go, like when they were, when Prince Rhaegar went to go fight, Jamie asked to come with him before he fought the Trident, and he was told no because the king wanted to kind of keep the Tywin's heir there.
Sure.
Damn.
It could have been a good security policy.
Wow.
Right. Well, they say king's now it's the king's fault. He ends up getting stabbed, but
on many levels.
So know about the rest. The Trident happens, and Lord Eddard Stark, and they come to King's Landing, and the king, of course, King Aerys has gone super crazy now. He tells people to burn everyone, and then Jamie saves the city, and he is pretty much ostracized. Everyone hates him. Ned judges him, and he's called the Kingslayer, and people snicker at his back, but he was saving people. And like in his mind, he's hearing all this, and he's being made the enemy when really he was the only responsible one pretty much in the city.
Why doesn't he tell anyone? Or write a book?
Because who's going to believe him?
A tell-all book.
Someone. I mean, people saw this shit happening. Somebody had to see this shit going down, right?
You see what's happening in the show right now.
You see
Cersei blows up the Sept, but she's in charge, so people love her.
Well, right, but Jamie could have pointed people towards some of the hidden caches of dragonfire under the city, and if he had done that, then maybe Cersei wouldn't have been able to blow up the fucking Sept.
Cersei is Trump.
Is she trying to out-Trump the Mad King?
You see all that.
All right.
And, so he's spared. He's left in the King's Guard. But the king always picks on him about it. You've seen the king picking on him about it. You saw it in one of the first episodes where he's like, when you stabbed Aerys, what was he saying? And Jamie, of course, says, same thing he was saying all night, burn them all.
Mm-hmm. Burn them all.
Which is one of my favorite scenes in the whole entire show is when Jamie and Robert Baratheon are having that conversation.
Jamie, very matter of fact about it. Well, he's probably really tired of having told the story so many times.
Well, I think it was I think that's a moment where he went to that place that he had to go to inside.
In his head, he's holding hands with Cersei and dancing through a cornfield.
Yeah.
Don't Stop Believing's playing on the radio.
So anyway, so you got Jamie being the King's Guard, and he's doing his job. I mean, he helps in Greyjoy's rebellion, and he goes to tourneys at Lannisport with them, where he loses to Jorah Mormont. So,
I'm sorry. That was immature of me. I was mocking Jamie's pain.
Oh.
Anyway, I mean, now that Jennifer's fully in the Jorah Mormont camp. She loves
I am not.
So everything's good.
But the thing about when he lost to Jorah Mormont is he actually broke 9 lances on him, and then Robert gives the victory to Jorah. So this is the guy that you're seeing up until this point. This is who he is, the young kid who works his way up and then has to watch a king go mad and kill his friends and kill people he knows, and he decides to save the city. This is the type of person you have, who only has one love in his life, and that's Cersei.
I am not going to try to argue that Jamie is not damaged goods, but everyone in Westeros is damaged goods.
He's someone you would root for if the first thing that you didn't see of him was him pushing someone out the window.
Right. That's true.
But if we had known all this, Kevin, and then we watched him push a kid out the window just so he could keep the secret about wanting to be balls deep in his sister,
we'd be like, that's not Jamie.
Or we'd be like, well, fuck that guy. I mean, I used to love him, but now he's pushing kids out of windows, so fuck him.
Is that a different...
Yeah, but you see his love for Cersei and you understand it more. Like, he was afraid everything he'd worked for was going out the window now.
Okay.
So to speak.
Right.
I appreciate this information.
No one else caught that. He said going out the window. All right, whatever.
So let's talk about the redemption stuff. So you know how he is the rest of the show. You've been watching him on the show. A little couple differences from the show and the book is he shows up at the wedding of Joffrey, and he actually does not make it to the wedding for Joffrey in the book. So he's not there when Joffrey dies.
He's not there in the show either, right?
He is there in the show. He pushes someone out of the way and runs up, and it's
when Joffrey's choking.
Oh, I just remember Cersei.
No, he's there. He's there at the weddings, but he wasn't there in the book?
He was not.
All right. I'm trying to picture it all in my head now. It's hard.
So long ago. Oh, so long ago.
I know. Right. So Jamie shows up right after Joffrey's died, and Cersei is mourning, and they have the sex in the area next to the dying son, like they did in the show. It's a little more consensual than it was in the show.
Oh, really?
Just a little bit.
They're disgusting.
Yeah. Desecrating a holy place that they would someday burn down.
You know what? You could look at it from a different side. They're taking comfort in each other's love.
Well, yeah. I mean, you see that in movies all the time. People go to funerals. They're sad. They're, someone
they usually go home.
Just died. They just need to feel something.
Usually not next to their dead son.
They go out to the car in the rain and they just fuck. And it's probably not a very good fuck, but they just wanted to feel something.
Oh. Okay.
So that's last time in the book that they have anything intimate is that scene, because Jamie has been changed from his trip with Brienne. He's just his imprisonment, his prolonged exposure to Brienne, all that stuff is kind of.
You make it sound like she's radioactive. His balls fell off thanks to prolonged exposure to Brienne. He can't fuck
being
anymore.
with a woman, and
how honorable she is, how stubborn she is to the code of honor, that type of stuff. Like he sees that.
All right, fair enough.
So.
You said it. Prolonged exposure.
When Tywin gives Jamie the sword that he made from Edward Stark's great sword, they made from Ned's great sword.
Yep.
He actually feels insulted because he says, this is useless to me. I don't have a sword hand.
Well,
his dad tells him again, yes, you don't have a sword hand. You need to resign from Kingsguard.
They had a similar conversation in the show.
Right. So all this stuff's going on, but Jamie's been changed because of the thing, and this is the beginning of his arc. He passes the sword on to Brienne, who names it Oathkeeper. Right. And he says, "Go find Sansa Stark," just like he did in the show.
Okay. Now, does everything wait? Now, during that journey, though, I mean, does he maybe not all the same events surrounding his capture, but does he kill his way out of prison? Does he still lose his hand in the same manner?
Yes, all that's pretty close.
Okay. All right, so go on then.
So, but the arc starts happening then, and then you have Tyrion on trial for murder. And when they fail for Tyrion, Jamie still doesn't believe that Tyrion has done that. So Jamie forces Lord Varys to arrange Tyrion's escape. And so during the escape, and this is a big part that they didn't do in the show that people who read the books really, really hated. And I really didn't care too much about it because I really didn't like it in the books. But Do you remember in the first season when he's talking to Bronn and Shay about his first wife, Tyrion's first wife?
Yep. The
okay.
one that was
the whore.
paid.
Right.
Over
and
over
Shay
again.
says to turn out she was a whore. Well, that was Jamie telling Tyrion that she was a whore, and it was actually she was not a whore.
What?
So Jamie had lied to Tyrion about it on the orders of his father.
Oh.
So she was never a whore.
Did she get fucked and therefore raped by all of these guys?
Right. And so So Tyrion goes this whole entire time thinking that he had married someone who was a hooker, or it was set up as a hooker and stuff like that, when he really wasn't. So when he tells him this, when Jamie tells him in the book that he lied to him, that she was never a whore, Tyrion goes crazy, like in his mind, and he tells Jamie he did kill Joffrey.
Oh,
and then he also tells he also tells Jamie that Cersei is fucking everybody, and just including Moon Boy, who is this guy you guys have never got introduced to. So Tyrion tells Jamie about Cersei's all of her extramarital stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, yeah.
Did she fuck Lancel in the books?
I'm sorry?
Lancel, did she fuck him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in the book she did. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically Tyrion tells them everyone.
Mm-hmm.
He tells them about everything. Tells about Lancel. He tells them about a guy you guys never heard of called Osmond Kettleback. And then so he tells them all this stuff. So now Jamie is completely crushed. I mean, he was able to deal with Robert because he was married to him, but he always thought that Cersei was only only his. So now Jamie is crushed at this point, and this is when it really goes for different, from what you're seeing in the show.
What does it? What tell?
Well, in the show, did Jamie ever find out even about Lancel? I'm trying to think now. It didn't seem like it was ever I feel like word got out at some point, but maybe Jamie wasn't around for it.
He's not believing it. It didn't come from Tyrion though, like it did in the book, and
right.
it's such a big reveal of what's happening.
Right.
And that's also why Tyrion goes to kill his father in the book, is based on that lie. Something they don't touch on in the show at all.
All right.
Wow.
Well, fair enough. It would have certainly complicated the plot more. I know you have to streamline sometimes. Right. I understand. Right. I understand.
Right. So that's one of the things that happens why Jamie turns away from Cersei. And Cersei, after Tywin's killed, Cersei offers him the position of the Hand of the King, and he refuses it. He stands vigil over Tywin. Cersei tries visiting him, begging him to accept the offer, and he does not take it, and she leaves. She tries to pretend she loves him. She tells him that she was a fool for ever loving him, but he ignores her. So this is him already turning away from her. So he's doing what he used to do with Mad King, basically going inside himself. So
good for Jamie.
Jamie's the one who suggests that. Yeah, this is the one that he suggests that Tommen and Marjorie get married. So all this stuff's going on. So following the funeral, Cersei's so mad at Jamie for not taking the Hand of the King that she commands him to leave, and she tells him to go lift the siege at River Run. So we've seen him lift the siege at River Run. He never goes to Dorne, by the way.
Well, yeah, I mean, we know, I think we've touched on it a little bit here on the show, and maybe someday we'll really dive into it, but the whole Dornish everything with Myrcella and everybody, it's all different in the books.
Yeah. He also takes, this is when he gets his golden hand. He takes people that were squires for the families, and they fought for House Stark. He makes them his squires. This person called Garrett Page and Lewis Piper. So I mean, it's just he's now going away from Cersei. He's going away from that side of his life. So you guys remember Ilyn Payne, right?
Of course.
With the axe. Okay.
The tongueless
Jamie
headsman.
Jamie actually asks him instead of Bronn to help him learn how to fight, because Ilyn Payne can't talk.
Right.
So they can't tell him how bad he is.
Well, All right. I mean,
and during this time, he does a bunch of good stuff, and so he stops Derry with his cousin Lancel and asks Lancel about if he ever slept with Cersei, and he admits to it. So Jamie now learns that what Tyrion said is true.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
But so I'm just saying, yeah.
Well, that could mean that then he also truly believes that Tyrion killed Joffrey.
Right.
That's not good for Tyrion.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not good for Tyrion.
All right. Go on.
Right. So Jamie then gets to River Run. He realizes what they're doing isn't going to work, kind of like what it was like in the show. And he changes the strategy, gets Edmure released, returns to River Run. He yields the castle. They do all that stuff they had done. He spares all of them that were there, tells them they can go to Night's Watch if they want to allow, and then he allows them to go to Night's Watch. He now seems like a better general, kind of he's doing all this stuff, and he's not fighting for Cersei anymore, because what ends up happening while he is there, Cersei, all the stuff that happens with Cersei is happening, where she gets in trouble with the faith, right? She just puts in prison, and she says she wants to battle a trial by combat, and she sends a letter to Jamie, and Jamie gets the letter, and instead of responding to the letter, he just burns it.
Oh. Well,
so that's
right.
That's his arc. He has gone away from Cersei. He is now trying to make right what he's done wrong. He is stopping sieges. He is and he's ignoring Cersei.
Nice. I like this version better.
And this is where it ends,
right?
At this point, because
no, there's a little in Dance of the Dragons. It goes away from Jamie a lot, but you hear some of the stuff he does. He goes to Ravenhall Tree to stop the last holdouts from Robb Stark supporters. He ends the siege pretty quickly, I think. But at the end of that book, he is met with Brienne, and Brienne says she has found Sansa, and she tells him to come with him, and she comes with him. But what you know about Brienne is that she has, at this point, started working for reanimated Catelyn Stark.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you think Jaime's going off to his death.
Oh, and that's where the books end?
That's where that one ends, yeah.
Does Brienne actually think that she's going to do some good works with Jamie, or is she trying to set Jamie up?
You don't know. The thing with Brienne is you hear her, she's with Podrick when she gets captured by the Brotherhood Without Borders or whatever.
Banners. How can you not know that?
I'm saying it that way because they kind of have splintered off and not became what they were. There's something different now.
All right, fine.
Than what they were supposed to be. There's something different now. They're being run by Catelyn Stark. They're not being run by Beric Dondarrion, because Beric Dondarrion gave his life for Catelyn.
All right.
And so she's reanimated. She's Lady Stoneheart in the book. And she captures Brienne, and she goes to hang Brienne, and she tells Brienne that she can either watch her and Podrick die, or take up the sword for her. So at the end of the book, she says she'll take up the sword for her. And so at the end of the Feast for Crows, she says she'll take up the sword for her. And then at the end of Dance of Dragons, she comes and gets Jamie and leaves. So you know she's working for Catelyn Stark, so you think she's going to get Jamie killed or bring her back to Catelyn Stark at least. So
all right,
that's
interesting.
But like I tell you, the show is doing a lot more of making me want to like Jamie because of riding into battle to kill the queen to end the suffering and stuff like that. But he's had his redemption in the book where he's turned Cersei away and stuff. So that's gonna have to happen in the show at some point. It's the whole point of what I want to make. He's going to have to turn away from Cersei at some point.
We don't have time for him to turn away from Cersei and then also have some kind of conclusion to their story. Which I think
we do. Every single episode, there's some epic battle and something huge happens.
We have 2 episodes left this season, and we still have a war against the undead, which is only
maybe it'll be the
6
next episode.
Well, maybe it will be. Well, what I'm saying is, all right, so right now we're in a situation where Cersei says she's pregnant. And the big question around the internet is she really pregnant, or is she just fucking with him?
Just a couple episodes ago, she was whispering with Qyburn in the window.
Okay.
And Jamie walked in. He's like, "What's this all about?"
That was last episode.
Oh, was it?
That was when. Yeah, it was right after that. She said she was.
Oh,
pregnant.
this is so. Qyburn
really
is involved somehow, unless maybe she's just discussing medical things with him. But
I'm sure he did her pelvic exam.
Ew.
She likes him. She trusts him. She
Can
wouldn't
you
let Pycelle do
imagine
that.
having his fingers inside of you?
He is a man of healing. Would you rather have Pycelle?
No.
I'd rather have Qyburn probing me, I guess. That's the case, maybe. If I had to pick one.
Kevin.
If it was one of the two.
Qyburn or Pycelle.
Who gets to probe you, Kevin?
I would probably go with Qyburn as well.
He's creepier, but less. Bleh.
I think I would just go find some. What do you call them?
Like a mirror and a speculum, and just do your own.
A midwife.
Oh, a midwife. Okay.
No, they had midwives.
Or that.
Anyway, so that's
Yeah.
Jamie. That's how he's different. He's had his redemption arc. He's, completely ignored Cersei. He's still on a Cersei's hand in the show, which is kind of annoying. But you say, what would make him turn away? What if she's faking the pregnancy?
Right. Well, yeah. But okay.
That would make him turn away.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying he wouldn't turn away from her. I'm saying he'd probably just fucking kill her and be done with it. He's not going to turn away, go off on some quest, and eventually they meet again across a battlefield, and then finally he shoots an arrow into her eyeball.
So 6 weeks must have passed since all of that.
So you're saying just like in King Ares, he will just stab her in the back.
Well, or just like
too.
Or just like Tyrion, like if he finds out the truth that she was lying to him about being pregnant and like 100 other things, he'll just lose his mind momentarily, snap, and just choke her out.
Maybe.
Just
this is somebody that he loved from the very beginning. You've seen it through the whole. It's like a love story. If she wasn't his sister, it would be the cute love story that everyone would root for. Because the knight loving the queen from far away, always type thing.
Well, of course, but the queen usually isn't Osama bin Laden. Nor is she fucking like a dozen other like young pale boys. There's all sorts of things that Cersei's doing wrong to make this a sympathetic relationship. We really just want Jamie, right, who I feel like Jamie's had a few redemptions over the course of the show, and then he takes another dip back down because he does something stupid for Cersei again.
It's always Cersei. It's always Cersei that gets him in trouble.
Right.
Cersei's the reason he pushed Bran out the window.
She is his anti-Jiminy Cricket.
Right.
She always chirps in his ears and leads him down the wrong path.
Yes.
So Cersei's going to have to do something that is really bad.
On his shoulder.
Either put more than 1 million people's lives in danger or alive. I don't know. I mean, she has to do something that's really bad for him to turn away from her.
Well, she did blow up half the city.
I mean, sleeping with people in the book is all it took.
Why are they not talking about that?
Like, his redemption came right after he was on the road with Brienne in that one. So he was already changing because of that.
Yeah.
He realized she wasn't worth it. Now, in the way the show is, something's going to have to happen. She's going to have to put people's lives in danger. So the only thing I can think of is that parlay that's supposed to be coming up is going to turn bad. Like maybe she has the people who come to the parlay killed. Tyrion, Jon.
Well, if she brings the mountain to the parlay, there's only one way that thing's going to go. Because she thinks the mountain's indestructible.
Right.
Maybe he is.
I bet Valyrian Steel will take him out.
Well, so with Dragonfire, I imagine. In fact, he's probably very flammable.
A lot of raw. What do you call it?
So something's going to
say rawhide. What do you call it?
He's got a lot of
maybe fake
chemicals and spices in it.
Formaldehyde. That's what I was thinking of.
Formaldehyde. Anyway, so that's what I want to talk about with Jamie, because he didn't have the redemption yet, and he's going to have it. Away from Cersei, because every time he gets around Cersei, he goes back.
This is completely off topic, but I have to ask. Do you think Daenerys has yet found the room in Dragonstone where there's a bunch of fucking babies in formaldehyde? And if she did find that room, what was her reaction? I mean, it's like the Queen's chambers. She probably
burned it.
Burned it? Just burned it all? Burn it out. That's not something you want to find.
That would not. Could you sleep in that room after that?
No, I couldn't sleep in that room before that. Like, if there's babies in jars there. Ugh. I mean, it's real like Wes Craven horror movie shit.
American Horror Story.
Or horror, yeah. It's up there. It's up there with the worst things ever.
Yeah.
House of 1,000 Corpses and The Hills Have Eyes. Salisa's Room.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about.
Okay, well, all right. So, is it possible that Cersei's pregnant? How about that?
Why not?
I guess it's possible.
She's like, what, 42?
Think about the finger-sucking witch. What was her name? Mabel? No.
She said you would have 4.
What was her name, Kevin?
3?
The finger-licking good witch. No one remembers. That's okay.
From like that episode with Cersei's young.
Yeah. But it's in the books, too. We did a Podlibs on it a while back.
I remember.
So she's supposed to have 3 kids with 3 shrouds,
Right,
whatever.
but in the show, she's already had 4 kids.
What do you mean? Well, she had a miscarriage, right?
No, she had a baby that was born because she talks about it with Catelyn Stark in the first episode. And then she talks about it with King Robert later on when he says, I wish he would have made it, and she said he was always sickly.
That was their baby, though, right? Robert's baby?
That was their baby.
Right. Okay. But the witch predicted 3 kids with golden crowns, right?
You're talking about Maggie the Frog prediction, right?
Maggie. You looked it up, didn't you? I'm glad you did. Maggie the finger-licking frog. Witch. Frog.
I was trying to show you finger-licking because I was thinking of the one with Dany.
That's
Mermad.
Magi.
Yeah.
No, she's a Magi.
Miri
Mazdur.
Miri Mazdur.
I get it now, yeah.
Miri Mazdur versus Maggie. Okay. But if Maggie is right, and it certainly seems like she is, Cersei's probably not going to have another kid with blonde hair. And the way genetics work in Westeros, that kid's going to have blonde hair if she's really pregnant. So that means either she's not pregnant or she's got to die before she has that baby.
Or the witch is full of bullshit and it's just all coincidence.
Maybe, but that would not be good storytelling.
Or she does something to the baby to spite Jamie.
She'll die before the baby's born.
That'd be great.
I think she will. I'll miss her. Don't get me wrong, but I think she'll
die pregnant.
She's dead within 2 episodes. Of course, I did also say that Jamie's going to die within 2 episodes. They're probably both going to die
together
because Jamie had a moment of happiness. He's not allowed to have that.
What's he happy about?
She's pregnant.
Oh.
Something bad's going to come of it. Someone's going to die. The only way that Jamie doesn't die because of his moment of happiness is if she really was pregnant and then she dies. That's his way out. That's his
Jamie's
way
gonna
to survive.
Have his arc, though. He's going to have to turn away from Cersei, and not because she dies. That'd be too easy.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well, I think he's going to kill her. Because that's the other part of Maggie's prediction, right? She's going to die by the hands of a brother.
Oh, did she say that?
Well, she uses the word Valonqar. Yeah, Valonqar. It's with a Q.
Does that mean brother?
Yeah. Someone says it means brother in Old Valyrian or something.
Who?
I don't know.
Old Valyrian's not a real English.
If you get on lynda.com and put in the offer code Pot of Thrones, you can take a class in High Valyrian for free.
High Valyrian for little brother, so she's always think Tyrion. But Jamie was her little brother as well, so.
Right. She was born first. Right. So it could be either brother that kills her, assuming Maggie's right. And I think she is.
Right.
Otherwise, what's the point? Assuming Maggie's right.
She's always assumed Tyrion. That's one of the reasons why she hated him forever, right. Other than him killing her mom.
Well, if I knew my sister was eventually going to kill me, I'd stay away from her too. That's all I'm going to say. It's like the Cyclopses in Krull, which has recently come up on Twitter. Thanks to some of our listeners. If you guys remember Krull, the Cyclopses made a deal with the devil, whoever, I can't remember his name now, to have the ability to see the future. And they were willing to sacrifice one of their eyes for it.
Right.
And in return, they did get to see the future, but they were only able to see the exact moment of their death.
Oh,
that
sucks.
Yeah, they were pretty sad guys. Yeah, or guy. There was only one left. But it's like that. So you know something's going to kill you. You try to avoid it. You're going to try to stave off your fate, but it's fate. So I don't think Cersei's going to make it out of the season. Everyone's come together, whether it's Tyrion or Jamie that's going to kill her. They're about to have a parlay. Something's going to go horribly wrong.
Parlay.
Butter.
I agree. Something's going to have to go wrong.
Yeah. I think it's going to start with the mountain.
I agree with you. Okay. Well, that'd be awesome.
Mountain's going to fuck it all up.
I want to see what the mountain looks like with no clothes on.
No clothes at all?
Yeah.
Did you see the picture I tweeted? Did I tweet that picture? Oh, maybe I didn't ever tweet it. I'm going to do that.
All right.
I found
Stay
a
tuned
picture
for a
of the
tweet.
mountain. The mountain in his new outfit without a helmet on at all.
All right.
I got to tweet that.
So to answer some of your earlier questions when I was trying to talk about Jamie, you want to talk about other things?
No. Well,
Remember,
I mean,
the kids are younger in the show than the kids are younger in the book than in the show. So Joffrey's only 12 when he becomes king.
Well, yeah, I mean that's fine if that actually sort of reduces.
So
the
Robert's
age gap
reign
between
was
him
more
and the
like
other boys.
15. Was closer to 15 years than it was to 20.
I'm just saying, for 15 years, Robert really looked like shit. I mean, I know alcoholism fucks you up, but that's bad. Not, I mean, come on.
Well, Robert was made to be a conqueror and not a ruler. Kind of like Danny. Danny's been made to be a conqueror and not a ruler, I think.
I totally understand. I'm just saying.
Like he was
really
born to conquer. He was. I mean, you see what Gendry did. That's kind of what Robert was like.
Just
swung the big axe, just
big hammer.
Looks
powerful
like
guy.
Bale,
you really want to call it an axe?
Right.
You wish he had an axe. That's like the 8th time
in a
week that you've called it an axe.
It's in the axe family.
It's sword. I mean, it's a hammer.
It's a hammer.
I want to call it an axe. I don't know why.
Kevin hates hammers. I don't think he loves axes. I think he just hates.
I don't like hammers either. I never chose the hammer in Fallout.
You were never into MC Hammer in the 80s?
Not really. Those pants were silly.
I do keep calling it axe. I'm sorry. And people probably hate me. Like, it's a hammer. Like, I know it's a hammer. I just call it an axe.
You got a lot in your brain. You're the lore master. We should let you have something. You can fuck up.
We just like to pick on you because you know so much.
I know.
When we get a chance to pick on you.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We gotta dig in when we can, because if there's one thing we like to do, it's make fun of people.
I just think axe because of the pointy end on the other side, which is what they usually use to fight anyways. They're not going to hit you with the hammer part.
Well, that's what you. No. I thought you used the pointy end to like open up a can of beans when you're on the road.
No, you need to get through the can of beans that is the armor. So the hammer's not doing that.
Yeah. I could see if they're wearing armor.
Well, but the hammer will fuck up a knight, because once you crimp like the corners of the joints and stuff, then you can't move.
And you can't get that shit off.
Yeah, can't get out of your armor.
That would
can't really
suck. How do they get them out when they? Did they have to cut them out with like jaws of life?
Yeah, probably. Or just say fuck it and throw you on the fire.
Oh.
Burn out the body so you can save the armor, take it back home, repair it.
Oh, that sucks. What a shitty day that would be.
It might suck.
I want to tell you one more amusing thing about the books and the shows that's different.
Okay.
I always found
one
amusing. When Brienne is looking for Sansa, she visits the crossroads, and there's a person there making weapons, and she says how much the person looks like a young Renly Baratheon. So who they're actually talking about? He's talking about Gendry at this point. So Gendry looks more like Renly than he does Robert. But Robert, that's the way families are sometimes.
Sure, of course.
It's just that Brienne only knows Renly, so she sees Renly's features in him.
That's interesting.
And not Robert's. So I always found that interesting.
Brienne sure did love Renly.
He was a nice guy. He saved her.
Was he a nice guy in the books? I mean, he was kind of nice, but kind of a
But there's the same story about saving her at the dance.
Yeah.
And it was probably a lot more meaningful in the books because she was described to be quite ugly. Like legitimately ugly.
Right. It was actually
how am I mean?
For a second, hold on.
You're mean.
I think it was Randall Tarley that actually did the saving though.
Randall Tarley, not Renly Baratheon.
Well, yeah. No. Randall Tarley.
Randall Tarley's a dick.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
I'm glad.
I mean, he is, but
Randall Tarley's one of those guys who's like, you think he's a swell dude, and you guys get along all right, and you go hunting together, and he's like a super brilliant tactician. He's a pretty good warrior, takes care of his family. But then one day you find that someone mentions wildlings, and he just goes off on this tremendous racist rant. And then you're like, I don't think I like that guy anymore.
Yeah. I've met people like that
He's
before.
that guy. Right. I know. I think we've all met people like that before.
He's great.
In the
not so much.
And he's a nice guy in the books, and that's like she falls in love with him before he like says he's going to be king, because he comes to her island for when he was coming of age, and he treats her like with courtesy, and that's when she falls in love with him.
Randall or Renly?
Renly.
Oh, okay.
So
Renly.
I don't remember if it was the dancing. I remember that, like what she tells in the show. What I think happened was she's being mocked, and Randall Tarley steps in and puts an end to it.
In the book?
Oh, okay.
In the book, yeah.
All right.
Huh.
It's not what she says in the show. In the book, it's Randall Tarley that puts a stop to it, because she brings it up later when she meets Randall Tarley when she's looking for Sansa.
Interesting. Okay. Well,
so, I'm telling you, like, there's just a bunch of different things that happen. So,
I'm gonna see the people in different light now.
Not Randall Tarley. You're not going to see him
Jamie
anymore.
for sure. Yeah, really.
I'm not gonna see him anymore.
I was hoping the dragon would eat them.
Would have been. Well, you get to see that
They saw enough
Jaws of
fire.
Life thing with the armor. Yeah, that's how that works.
They must be pooping a lot of armor.
Dragons?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be more selective about what I eat if I was a dragon. Only look for soft, fleshy things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
There you go. There's my Jamie rant.
I wouldn't have called it a rant. I would have just called it like a history lesson.
I love it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It puts some interesting perspective on things in terms of what we know about Jamie from watching the show over and over and over again
versus his history. Yes.
versus what you learn if you take the time to read the books instead of watching 60 hours of programming 4 times. It's good. I like it.
I love
you,
it.
Kevin.
We should do this more often.
Well,
We
have
do
time.
it.
We're going to have a year and a half.
No, we've never
off-season.
dug into a character and learned about his complete history.
Well, we'll do that.
Well, Jamie's history is very interesting. I just love Jamie's history because, again, he's that knight that you would have rooted for. You would have been rooting for him before he pushed Bran out the window.
Well, here's your homework assignment. A week or two after the season ends, because we are coming up on that pretty quickly. Let's do an hour on Podrick.
I don't think we do it.
No, you scour the books. You have a few weeks to reread them and get us everything you got on his personal history.
They don't talk about him much. He's not a main character.
I just love the guy. I'm sorry.
I'll do what I can.
All
He's
right.
cute.
Thanks, Kevin.
You might be able to get 30 minutes out of me.
That would be amazing. Someday.
All right. So we done?
I think so. You want to go to bed, Kevin? I know it's late where you are. You probably need your beauty sleep.
No, I got to finish my Spanish class tonight.
Aw.
Spanish. High Valyrian. Lynda.com/High Valyrian. Go do that instead.
No, I need to finish Spanish first, and then I'll go to High Valyrian. Actually,
right.
I go to French after Spanish, but then I'll do High Valyrian.
Well, geez, Mr. Smarty Pants. Fine. You go do all that. We're going to go watch The Defenders on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, I got to start watching that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's out as of tonight.
We watched the first episode.
Yep. Snuggle up on the couch, and I am...
Hey, I got another show you could watch. I'm not going to be like I was with Westworld, but I really enjoyed the show Atypical on Netflix.
Atypical.
All right, we'll look it up.
Yep,
We'll add
take a
it
look
to
at that
the
one.
long list. We're going to finish up Westworld, We have... For those...
One more episode.
For the no, well, 2 really, because we recorded episode 9 a long time ago when we had a little free time, but we never had time to put it into the rotation before we hit episode 100 and the season and Comic-Con and all that shit. So
we were just doing
gotta finish
Westworld
that.
while we waited for Game of Thrones to come back.
I know, but now we love Westworld, so we'll make that a regular thing when it comes back. But
This season's going to be over in what? 1?
I know we've only got 2 weeks, and it's going to be like 2019 before we get more Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so
It's fucked
we'll
up.
be back in 3 weeks with Westworld.
We need more stuff to talk about on the show.
2019.
I think so.
2019.
I read late 2018 or maybe early 2019.
Oh
But
my goodness, I'm gonna die before then.
It's going to be over a year. You can't die. You got kids to support, you dumbass. Keep
I
making
know.
babies.
I know.
Jeez.
It just feels like it's so long.
Take it from the pros here, dude. You are not allowed to die.
Dude, you need to put some protection on.
Don't get snipped.
Don't get snipped.
We'll do an hour on my balls when we
And
get
don't
really,
get
really
any
bored.
don't get any weird stuff for her either.
What?
Okay.
Oh yeah. Don't put anything inside her. Don't get your stuff snipped. Just stop having sex.
You
altogether.
both have
You'll be
bad
happy.
stories.
That's not going to be the plan we're going for here.
Okay.
But don't keep having kids.
No.
We have too many children in the world.
Don't do that Monty Python. Every sperm is sacred.
I don't
thing.
have
You
too
don't-
many
you don't-
children.
Take
in
it
the
from
world.
us. You've got 4.
He wants one.
I will have 4.
That's more than your share.
He's competing with us.
We need like 2 per family now. We've got too many people.
I
I'm
like
serious,
kids a
man.
lot though, so I'm gonna have to get snipped because I may change my mind again.
You better find the best doctor
Kevin,
ever.
You're going to make me lecture you about my balls. But
All
not,
right.
but not
All right,
tonight.
not tonight.
I'm
Not
getting
tonight.
out of here.
We don't have
See you
time for
later.
ball
Good
casting.
night.
Good night,
Good night,
Kevin.
Kevin.
And for everybody
You're
else,
crazy.
if you want to treat yourself right, don't get your balls snipped. And also go
Don't
to
lecture. Don't
go to-
lecture your people on me.
go to potofthrones.com/shirts and get yourself a nice, comfy, never stop hodoring t-shirt.
There you go.
I'm good
I'll
at
talk to you
commercials.
guys later.
I'm really good at commercials, aren't I, babe?
Yes.
Yes. There we go.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.